Lock eyes with the ref and blow him a kiss. A quick 1-2 and pray you don't miss. Welcome to the Burnie Podcast.
So in this week's episode, we're going to take a look back at all the football from the last fortnight here at Blackburn. We've got a colour run to look back on, and the Blackburn derby that we played in the other week against Armadale, and we've also got the legend of Blackburn, Meechan, on the podcast this week.
But first, let's catch up on the seniors of the first team. Last time we left them, they'd just won 2-1 over our local rivals Armadale, but since then we've lost in the King Cup to Stoneyburn, and we lost a late winner at home to Preston Athletic. That's 2 losses in a row. How can we bounce back, Jared? I thought we were on a roll.
I think you just need to look at it like something that's going to happen within the season, which you need to use like his energy to kind of fuel your battle. I think like in a season you do need to be given that opportunity to fail to sort of bounce back for it. I mean, we've seen at the start of the season, 2 disappointing defeats, I'd say, especially that second game that we got beat about 5-1, and I think having that opportunity to fail gives the coaching staff a wee bit of fuel to add to the fire, and the boys as well. They need to show a reaction, and they've not really got a choice but to show a reaction or they don't play. So in that sense as well, sometimes a win can actually be another run at 8 and 9 games. A loss can be another run at 8 and 9 games to win. So they just need to take it like that and not be like, oh well, that's us at the race. Do you know what I mean? So they just need to look at it properly, I think.
Well, they're far from out the race. We're still in the top promotion and well into the promotion.
We're still well in it, but you just can't take it as a negative.
Exactly. Use it.
But what about your team?
Well, similar vein. We were leading against league leaders East Calder, 1-0 with 10 minutes to go. It was a good, well worked goal. They equalised, and then they scored a winner in injury time to see us lose 2-1, which was a bit gutting, but we took it as a win because the boys' performance was fantastic.
Really
like
good,
see just that grit and determination. It was really there. So we're hoping. That's what we're talking about. The Blackburn derby. We're playing the other 2011 Blacks. So it's 2011 Blacks versus 2011 Whites this Sunday down on the 3G. So it's a proper Blackburn derby. It's going to be an interesting match for sure. I hope not. But
can I promote that on the podcast?
No, not at all. And I'll be keeping very calm and trying to stay as neutral as possible.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
So how about the 2009s? How did they get on?
We played in the Scottish Cup against Dunfermline, beat them 3-0.
Brilliant.
Aye, first half, I think.
Was that home or away? Or?
Away. It was at Fife College, so just over the bridges. Terrible afternoon traffic coming back, but first 30 minutes I'd say they were probably the better team. We started off quite slow, but then we scored for a corner. Good header for the lad Caden, and that probably gave us a wee bit of energy to probably turn the game over, I'd say. And then we started to build ourselves back into it, and I'd say after the first 25-30 minutes we were definitely dominant side. Deserved the win. A wee change in shape as well.
Okay.
Just to obviously see us over the line too. So I'd say a calm sort of game though. I'd say once we were even at 1-0 when we were dominating the game, things can change, but we felt as if we were doing really well, and it's not as if it was a nightmare. We were in control. That's the word I've been looking for. But 3-0, good solid day out. John Duffy.
Yeah.
Long-term supporter of the club's obviously just been released from the hospital, so that's really, really good news, and we wish him a speedy recovery.
We do indeed. We can't wait to see him back behind the goal with his magic cola. In some other football-related news, roving reporter Callum Carson has went freelance. I'm sure you've all seen or read some of the stories that he's written over the years for the Courier and Daily Record and such. So not only do we wish him well on his new adventures, we'd love to have him on the podcast for a chat. So do get in touch, Callum. I'll see if I can actually reach out and link to him.
Anyone can put him our way.
Yeah, that would be good.
Listen, so the support of the podcast, the John Clark Motor Group, have a Black Friday sale, and it's got exclusive offers available until the 1st of December. So with the purchase of any used vehicle, you can enjoy an extra £1,000 of part exchange trading value, and you've also got up to 2 years warranty in that sort of deal as well. offers are obviously only limited time with it being Black Friday. You can browse the used car stock online today. Terms and conditions do apply, and the offers are valid between the 21st of November and the 1st of December. So we're looking in the next couple of days really that you've got to
bag a bargain down at the John
bag
Clark
a
Motor
bargain.
Group.
Apologies, John Clark, we should have done this last week. But
We were both ill, very ill last week. That's why it was
we were absolutely
both
floored
of
with the
us,
cold.
yeah, so-
But listen, the way I see it is, see when you go to buy a car, you're better just buying the first one you see. No second guessing and all of that. I see the car I've got now, just seen it, went aye.
Because it was blue.
Next question.
Okay, can you explain to me what these colour runs are all about? Because I noticed the 2015 boys were having fun during the week. I saw some great pictures of that, raising some funds. But all I could see was a hefty washing bill, or is that the point?
I think I've never done a colour run. I think it's quite a new thing. But
Right.
Is it like, I don't know, what is it?
Well, I just see them all running through with white t-shirts.
Do the parents maybe have like a one of the cannons that you pull?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's why I was asking you. You're younger than me. I thought you'd maybe...
I'm not too sure.
Could somebody enlighten us on the colour run? What's more involved?
I'd love to have answered that, but I think maybe... Well, there's no other explanation than the parents standing across the path as they run and pulling big cannons of coloured smoke or whatever it
I
is.
don't know. Well, talking of raising funds, if any teams are looking for sponsorship, I was in at Moe's Fish Bar the other week there. Just once a week I'm in there, just once. They are open to, if any teams are looking for sponsorship, I think that would be great. Moe's Fish Bar, so get in touch with Moe's.
Oh, aye.
Right across the road for Party Worldwide on the main street.
Fish and chips in the podcast.
Actually, yeah, I never actually thought I should have asked them to sponsor the podcast. We could have had fresh fish and chips here every single week.
This guy has spoke about getting like a pie. Like
I know
a
we did
butcher's or something,
pies
so we
and
can
stuff.
have pies as we're delivering the podcast, and he's not even asked about fish and chips.
I think that would be better.
I think we should boot him off the podcast. I don't.
Fish and chips were here
That's
every week.
horrific.
I'd be here every
Do you think that would encourage better guests?
Oh, my foot I do. Fatter guests anyway.
Fatter guests, aye. We welcome you back for the 5th time.
SB. Anyway, on to the ladies section. So massive congratulations to Niall and Brian. So Niall's just achieved his SFA level 1.2 coaching award, and Brian's just completed his 1.1. So we're really fortunate to have coaches within the academy, well, the girls section as well specifically, are committed to their development and not just showing up, coaching and going home. They're trying to do a bit better for the girls on their journeys on and off the pitch. So their dedication will and has been making a real difference. So keep an eye out for more updates as we continue to celebrate the growing girls section and the amazing volunteers who are all making it possible for the girls at Blackburn.
Absolutely, Jared. Yeah, it's great to see these kind of things. More guys with 1.1s and 1.2s. It's great to have in the club. But as I mentioned before, it's been 2 weeks since we've been on. Hearts are still top of the league.
It's going to be 2 weeks before I can sort this bit of paper out.
Rangers have sacked CEO Patrick Stewart. That's not the bald guy for Star Trek, is it? No.
Dobby for Harry Potter.
And the sporting director. So were fans right to celebrate, or is it just another cliffhanger in the Ibrox soap drama?
Right to celebrate. I mean, that Kevin Felwell, for starters, if you ever look at the Chermiti deal, you spend £9.5 million on a player who's played 24 games for Everton, scored 1 goal, and his excuse was, oh well, his price is going to skyrocket. But you've got no evidence to go and do that. If you're spending £9 million at Rangers, it's probably like a loan to buy that's scored 20 goals before. And I think one of the things that have massively let them down is probably how long it took them to sack Russell Martin. I think, it was a total disaster. They brought him on board, they continued to back him, and everyone could clearly see it wasn't working. I think, like, you look at Leverkusen with Ten Hag, they got rid of him after 2 games when it's not working. We're not going to let ourselves...
Prolong it.
Aye, we're not going to let ourselves fail. But Patrick Stewart was like, no, we'll keep him, and until he needed a police escort out the stadium, that's when he decided to sack him. I think the summer transfer window's been absolutely abysmal. I mean, the both of them, sort of Kevin Felwell more in charge of the recruitment. I think it's been absolutely abysmal. There's absolutely no way you can spend 30 million at Rangers and be 4th in November.
It's quite silly.
I think it'd be harder to do that. I think honestly, I think it's harder to be fourth at Rangers than it is to be second, genuinely. So I think that was the right decision by Country. I mean, even trying to pull the wool over the fans' eyes. I mean, the fans were confronting them away in Austria when we were playing against Sturm Graz. They were in the airport and the hotel, like confronting them, saying like, "What is going on?" And they're away shaking their heads, and then they're like, "What are you shaking your heads for?" They're coming back and saying, "Oh well, who would you bring in as manager then?" That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing's on video, so I think it's the right decision, eh?
I would have to agree with you on that matter as a neutral. But while we're at it, did you see the plans that were floated to expand Ibrox and lower the pitch? So we could be closer to the drama? Is this the stadium of the future, or is this just a way to hide another managerial misstep?
It's something that's been talked about for years. They've always talked about lowering the pitch, but I think there's like complications with engineering, because I think if you go any lower, because the Clyde,
the damps, it's going to
it's going to obviously not be feasible that way, but I think what's been spoken about for years as well is getting rid of the big massive TV screens and then just filling that in with seats. I think we need it, because there's a big 20,000 waiting list for season tickets, but it probably just is a distraction. I mean, when they put the post out the other day, a lot of the comments were go and actually make the team good first.
Aye.
Because like 4 years ago we built that Edmiston house for £13 million, but the squad needed the £13 million and we fell a lot. So I think we need to focus on the football. Once you get that right, then you can start to talk about how hot the pies are and
just a distraction tactic more than anything else.
I mean, it is. I mean, you can start expanding the stadium, making the pies hotter, and giving a wider selection of food at the kiosk when we start winning games. But until then, I don't want to see anything getting done apart from signing players.
True. We have some merchandise for sale. We forgot to mention it in the last podcast. I think we mentioned at the very start. We've got hats and I think scarves. Is that right?
Aye, we've got was it pixie dust? What is it? So you get the
reindeer dust.
Reindeer dust.
That's a belter. Reindeer dust. That's a belter.
So yeah, we've got that. I think if you contact Trevor or kind of anybody on the board with that, we can get in touch with that.
Trevor's got his number and his contact details out in the Facebook. But there's other things. There's golf umbrellas, scarves, teddies, everything that's there to try and help everybody, balls, etc., etc.
Aye, we kind of really want to push this and stuff like that.
Exactly that. Yeah.
If you're listening, Trevor, get some pixie dust in.
Get some pixie dust. Well, what we'll do is we'll have a selection next week so we can wear them and show them off and model them.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Aye, definitely. Anyways, Brian, you've waited a while, so we're going to welcome Brian into the podcast. Brian, thanks for coming on.
Well, listen, thank you very much for having me.
Brilliant.
It's one of the best things I've seen what happening at Blackburn is your podcast. It's great. Well done.
I appreciate that, man.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Well, see when people hear your name at Blackburn United, they think the club man, don't they? The man. But what does Blackburn actually mean to you personally?
Me, chings. Born in Blackburn, born in Riddicle Road, 52 Riddicle Road.
Was that the year or your street?
That's the street. No far off my age right enough, but yeah. Blackburn, Crivens Fae, day when you could walk, you would walk along to the old juniors park and watch Bobby Rooney and all his guys playing and watch the old football teams they days with, Chuck Smiley and everybody else, and brilliant days, sneak through the fence, the wooden fence, and then get chased about to get back out and things like that. But yeah, they were the good days growing up in Blackburn.
Superb.
Blackburn was a really close-knit family village way back before we started building the east side of Blackburn, and then that came in and we had a wee overspill of Glaswegians coming in, and still became very close people. Still to this day you go about, people for some reason or another knows you and shout and gives you a wee nod or whatever. Or a wee something else, but yeah, they're always good. That's good. I moved away from Blackburn a few years ago built a house down in Bathgate. And the young lad you spoke about earlier on, John, keeps telling me I'm an incomer when I come back every week. But I think I've spent more times in Blackburn than away from Blackburn. So, but yeah,
Definitely.
love it. Love Blackburn.
So, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, using only things your mates would say about you, what would it be?
I don't think I'll be allowed to say some of the words. Unless you want to bleep it out quickly. But
That's all right, aye.
They would probably say that, well, I would hope they would say that I'm very helpful, very approachable, and I will do anything to help and get what we need, you know. Yeah, that's what I've been called a few different things than that right enough, but we're not really what to call that, you know, from water boy to sponge boy to numerous other things that.
You'd like to be a bit thought of as helpful, basically.
Aye, I would say so. That's what I try and do. I'd rather I get into arguments with people because they're probably passionate about the things that we want to do, and I'm maybe a wee bit like Trevor wanting everything done yesterday and things like that. So that can become an argument. Myself and Trevor have had a couple of wee run-ins over this last season since Trevor came president, but it's nothing to do with. It's purely to do with where we want to be, where we want to go, and you know that we end up have a wee argument, and then we're back to agreeing now what we want to be and what we think. It's just different.
It's probably how it should work though, because if you see eye to eye all the time, you're not going to see the flaws in each other's logic. Whereas if you say it, do you know what I mean? You can fix it. Do you know what I mean?
Somebody's got to, you've got to talk about things, and probably a lot of the time with myself and Trevor as well, I think that we try and push our thing over, where you really have to step back and say, listen to other people as well, and that's with myself talking with Trevor and Alan Harris. I love talking with Alan. Alan settles you down quite easily, and then you can have a really good conversation about what you want for the club, and that settles everything down. And even talking with Trevor, after we get our wee bits out what we want to say, then we're back to this is the direction we want to go.
A shared common goal.
Exactly that. We're on the same direction. We want Blackburn first team, the community club, ought to be a win. That's our goal, and I've heard Andrew speaking about it on here a couple of times, and you listen to Chris Boyle down at the park. One of the biggest things that I love to see is the enjoyment on the guys and even the lassies' faces down at the training, down at the games, when you watch some of their games, and that is that if you only want to see the kids enjoying themselves, and that's the biggest thing, and we walk away from your club in a training week or some games on Saturday and Sunday, and the enjoyment of seeing the smile on their face when, it doesn't matter if they've won or lost. Once that game's finished, they're either at the cafe getting a cup of some hot chocolate or whatever, and they're laughing with their pals, and that's a gold mine, Same with the first team in the 20s. When you come in a game, you've maybe had a bad result like Saturday, first 10-15 minutes in the dressing room, it's like a morgue, but then they pick themselves up, and then it's all, believe for the next day, things get sorted out. The 20s are the same. I'm lucky to be able to get in the dressing room with the 20s and the seniors after games and before games, and the attitude of every one of the first team in the 20s development squad are all togetherness and want to enjoy themselves and want to enjoy playing for Blackburn United. We brought a young lad in, Ben Riley, for your Premier team just the other week there, and he's had a great start, and then
unfortunate with the injury.
Gets injured. And I was speaking to his mum on Saturday, believe it or not, and that lad's obviously been speaking to his mum and dad after games and that. He's gutted he's injured, but he believes that with the all-togetherness of the club, the all-togetherness with the team and the dressing room, that this team's going to win the league. And he believes that with what's coming out of that dressing room. And it's sad that the lad he's took the injury was, because he's starting to be a big player for us, and he will be a big player for us. He'll still be a big player for us, and we're looking, Andrew, Scott and David and Alan are working very, very hard to get new players in all the time. They're constantly talking, because at the end of the day, if we're going to go up, what we will do, we need to better our team.
We need to, when we go up, we need to stay up.
We need to stay up. Right? It'll take us a year or two to settle into that new league, but we need to. We don't want to be like a yo-yo and come back down. We need
it's
to
important
stay
for
up.
the fans as well. I mean, you're trying to build a community and try and get people back involved, which we've maybe been missing for a long time. If you go up and you go back down, toys go at the pram again. But I think if you can keep people in, then it's the way forward for us.
Yeah,
but
there's two things that will bring supporters back to watching your team is going up the leagues. That's a guarantee. The other thing that a lot of people love to come and see is the Scottish Cup.
I was going to say
and these are the two things. It doesn't matter about any other cups. We like to be in a cup. We like to win a cup, or we like to go a difference. But
Scottish Cup.
Two things. The Scottish Cup was always
you kind of want
bread and butter. For even the old days, my days with the juniors, it was the bread and butter. It made you a lot of money. It could make you a lot of money. If you had a great run, fantastic.
You kind of want to do what Broxburn have done in recent times. I mean, obviously, I think they played Buckie Thistle a couple of years ago, and because their name both started with B, the winner of that tie went to Celtic Park. That game makes you thousands of pounds.
Do you
know what I mean?
Set you up for years to head.
Oh, aye.
That's the icing on the cake. Anybody, that's your Scottish Cup final. If we reach some standard, if we get any of the Premier teams in the years
absolutely.
to come,
I mean, and they were only in. I think they were in the Premier League when they actually played St Mirren a couple of years back as well. So it's doable at this level.
Yeah.
You can get there. So it's.
I mean, it's games. It's like this year. I was unlucky to see the Scottish Cup tie this year. But I mean, we got a young Warren Furness got injured fairly early in the game, and he was coming on to a game, the laddie, and that as soon as he came off, that changed our direction in that game. So it's a shame that we could have been going into the next round. We could have been further on, and I know Andrew would say slightly different, that he wouldn't. He's happy to be in the league and concentrate in the league. Because at the end of the day, that's his priority, is to get us promoted this season.
I mean, I guess if you take one thing at a time, once we have settled into the league, then you can be like, right, I'm going to add an extra wee bit to the puzzle this year, guys. I want to go far in the Scottish Cup. So because sometimes you do show up to the games, it's a luxury game, no matter what happens. It's a good day out, you're at the pub afterwards, but there's maybe that. After a couple of years, is that we change it? It's like, right, no, we're showing up here to win today, sort of thing. Again, I don't know what goes on, but I think like the league's your bread and butter. That's
the league's the bread and butter. We have to concentrate on that to get up. Obviously, next season, if we bring in, and I'm no disrespecting any of our laddies that we have in the first team just now. Every one of them are all great players. They're working hard for each other. They're working hard for the team. So I wouldn't disrespect any of them, but to step up to that next level, we do need to look at a different category of guys coming in.
And that's just football. I mean,
exactly,
the only player like in the world that you don't talk about replacing is a person who's won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So unless you're that player, there's always room to bring somebody else in. Do you know what I mean? So that's just football.
Aye, I think our Scotty Richards is close to that right enough. He must be close to winning that.
I'd have stuck him in about 17th, 15th sort of place or something. Aye.
No far off it.
No, not too far. Darryl in 10th.
Aye, definitely.
Aye, definitely. But Anyway.
So, well, I was just going to say, take us back to the start then, because you've kind of had a couple of stints at Blackburn, haven't you?
Yes.
So, how did you first get involved in Blackburn United? Were you playing at school level?
Well, yeah. Just not to sound like booty, but started off obviously football at school. Always wanted to be a goalkeeper.
Right.
Played as a goalkeeper. Wasn't a bad goalkeeper, by the way. And then I got into a bit of a fight and damaged my left arm. So I was feared to dive to my left-hand side. So that caused a wee bit of an issue. So I changed and wanted to play centre forward. So I started playing centre forward with some of the St Kenty Girls teams. Played with some fantastic, again, sorry guys, I'm going to sound like bootless, played with some fantastic players, Alan Irvine, one of the best strikers of the ball I've ever seen. Played alongside him, a couple of other guys who went on to make it big and really big guys. Then, again, Tam Shaw was a massive influence in football in Blackburn, and played with his teams at the very young ages and that, and came up through his team mainly as a goalkeeper. Then I went to join New Main's Juveniles under-21s. I played there for a wee while, and I was coming out of church just up the road there, and met Alec Dunnigan, who was the manager at Blackburn at the time. And he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm playing at New Mains. Do you fancy come along? We've got a game on Monday night against Armadale teams." I says, "Aye, okay." So I came along Monday night, and the bold Alec Dunnigan wasn't there. He went off ski somewhere. I think he was away playing bowls. Anyway, James Cooper, Pugsley, was taking charge of the training. He says, "What are you here for?" And I says, "I thought I'd get asked to come along and play. We've not got any spaces for you." So I ended up playing with Armadale and right back that night.
Jeez.
So that was
goalie,
it. So,
centre forward, right back, medic, water boy. Anything you can do, Brian?
So that was my... went on to play some amateur football with Cane Park Amateurs. Then we were supplying Blackburn with some players for Cane Park Amateurs, actually. So there was a wee tie-up with them. Kimmy Mashnick came for there to play centre forward with Blackburn Juniors many years ago. Great, could put the ball in the back of the net, easy peasy. Wish we had somebody regulars like Kimmy would do. He was brilliant. And then I was asked to come in.
That's a fine.
So, I've already had 2 this season, £50 each. Then I was asked to come, see if I wanted to come and be the sponge boy at Blackburn. For the secretary at the time was Frank Meechan, my uncle. So I gave up amateur football and came and started helping here. And I'd done some physio courses and started being the physio. So, and then started doing goalkeeper coaching with Paul Kerr, who was the goalkeeper at the time. So that's how I got my first stint with Blackburn. And then I ended up the assistant manager with Blackburn with Alec Dunnigan and Maurice McCabe at one time.
Right.
And then there was a few Barneys over the years, and we all left, and Alec went to Stoneyburn and phoned me up if I wanted to be assistant at Stoneyburn. So I was up at Stoneyburn for about 4 weeks or something, then got sacked. So
let's dive into that then.
No, really.
Aye.
Went to Stoneyburn. Well, in my time at Blackburn, I got fined £250 for supposedly telling the referee I was going to break his back. Right, a referee called Graham Forrest, lovely guy.
Do you deny this?
No. I was coming off the park. We were playing Lithgow in the League Cup, and I was walking off the park, and I turned to Graham, who was well known to Blackburn as the referee. He comes from Edinburgh, but we had a couple of run-ins in the past with him through different reasons, blah, blah, blah. So I says to Graham on the way off the park, I says, "Graham, if you were in your own midden in Edinburgh," well, he came from Leith, he was a Hibs supporter. I said, "If you were in your own midden in Edinburgh and you spoke to the Lithgow players the way, if you spoke to people in the pub the way you speak to the Lithgow guys, you wouldn't go to the pub. So I gets into the dressing room, and Jim Robertson, our president at the time, Jim comes into the dressing room and says, Brian, the referee wants you in his wee office. So I had to come out. And he says, don't come back out in the second half. I'm going to report you to the SFA. I says, what are you reporting me for? For telling you would get your heat battered in at your pub. I says, I never says that you were going to get it, blah, blah, blah. So he says, don't come back in. So that's what he says. So as I was going out the door, I turns to him, I says, I'll see you after the game. So that £250 was quite well organised.
Quite well spent. You spend it again?
I would have. I met him when I went to Stoneyburn to go. Alec phones him up and says, I'm at Stoneyburn, you want to come up and give me a hand? No. And then next thing I ended up there. And this Saturday, Alec used to go with Balcourt and Bathgate Pipe Band because his two laddies played, drummer and piper, Darryl and Brett. So this Saturday, Alec wasn't going to the game. He says, you have to look after the game. And we're playing through in Edinburgh. So I've just read out the team, told them what they're doing, and I goes to the toilet. And next thing I hear the referee coming in and shouting, what colour's your goalkeeper top? And I knew the voice right away. I'm still in the toilet. I rushed out the toilet to see Graham Forrest standing at the end. And I says to Graham, it's great to see you back in the juniors, because he'd already been up at the senior level, and Hearts and Rangers had reported him and got him back down to junior football.
Wow.
So, needless to say, we got nothing that day, and me and Graham stood nose to nose at the side of the park during a goal we scored. I think it was Poddy Leach had scored the goal for Stoneyburn. He picked the ball up in his own half, run the length of their half, put the ball in the net, and he blew for offside. So me and him was nose to nose. It was other Edinburgh's team manager had to come over and split us up, and that was the following week. Myself and Ali was then asked to leave Stoneyburn and didn't come back. So.
Wow.
But that was a fun time.
Well, obviously, in your time at Blackburn, through many different roles, you know, you've seen us in the Premier League, you've seen the Scottish Cup debut, you've seen two youth teams get to the final, one of them win it, seen the 20s lift a trophy, which you were obviously involved with a wee bit. What's been your best sort of moment as a Blackburn United, either as a fan watching a different Blackburn United team or being involved in a dressing room with Blackburn United? Best moment?
Best moment has to be the 20s winning the cup.
Aye.
100%. That was because we went to, in the old juniors, we went to the fourth round of the Scottish Cup, and that was fantastic. But that with the laddies, with it, the atmosphere, Scott and Martin were brilliant with everything. They were, you know, Scott was a hard taskmaster to be a manager, but he was all for the laddies, you know, and to see everybody, see the laddies lift that trophy, that to me was fantastic, you know, absolutely buzzing, absolutely. The bus coming home that night was like, you thought you'd won the World Cup, honestly.
Aye.
It was absolutely awesome. So I'd love to see that again, and I think it made it more better for me and to see the laddies, because 2 seasons prior to that team should have won the league 2 seasons before that. We got beat at Heriot Watt, won the last game of the season, and all we needed was a draw and we won the league. The same year we should have been in 2 finals. We get to 1 final and we get beaten penalties in the final as well. So that was, most of that team went and won the cup last season, and to see that happening for the laddies, it's worked 3 seasons to get to that cup, you know.
That's pretty special.
That's massive. I mean, Brian and Connor and Gavin just now have got a great team. They've got a lot of the guys for last season. They've brought a lot of good laddies in this season, and I'm very confident they'll come away with 1 or 2 things this season. Be in the league first and foremost, and that would be an awesome season to see, because a lot of the laddies will be due. I think 4 are due to step up to senior level because they're finishing with the 20s. So it will make a fantastic season if they can walk away with a league. So yeah, touch wood for that one.
Definitely.
But yeah, the cup loved it, absolutely loved it. Never drunk a thing all night, and I thought I was drunk all night.
Well, unreal, mate.
Brilliant.
What about talking about that was obviously a really positive thing. What about worst?
Chings. Probably, if it's just talking about games, the old juniors, we went to one of the Ayrshire teams. I can't remember if it was Beef or Dalry. We played them up here. I think it was the third round of the Scottish Cup. So if we win, we're through to the fourth round. So we get a bigger team. This is the old junior Scottish Cup. So we're playing at Murrayfield and we're winning. And then they scored late on. I think we drew 1-1, but we should have won the day. So we went through to them, through to Ayrshire. We had a goalkeeper called Alan Tate for Livingston. Really good goalkeeper, but brain dead, absolute nightmare. Just crazy things. Anyway, we go through to, as I say, I can't remember if it was Beef or Dalry, and they had a great crowd, honestly. I want to see the crowd there. And we're up 1-0. We're going through to the next round. Time's going on. Jim Woods was our centre forward at the time, and he gets injured on the far side. So I was the physio at the time. So I runs across, right? And I'm trying to kill time as much as possible, keeping Jim lying down, don't move, blah, blah, blah. We're right next to the away support, and they're spitting on us, and it was disgusting. And I'm saying to Jim, just slide down in there, screaming, get him off, And we're minutes to go. And I remember listening to a band starting to play at the back of Alan Tate's goal. And they've got the ball, they've started to attack our goals. And lo and behold, it was an orange walk had started at the back of our goals. Right at the back of our goals. Alan Tate turns round to look at the band. The ball goes in the back of the net.
Oh,
the goalkeeper.
We're on a draw. Game finishes right after that. So we're then having to play a third game in the Scottish Cup. We go down to Benbirds Park along for Ibrox to play in the third tie of the competition, where we got gubbed 3-1 in the night. That was one of the hardest things to take. One, getting beat down there when we're up, getting beat the way getting drawn the game the way we drew the game with a band playing at the back of you, and then getting down and we never kicked the ball in the third round game. We were absolutely poor. Really, really sad for a lot of the laddies that day. But that's my lowest thing.
Your lowest
probably.
point,
yeah.
It's just like, in terms of like the way that the club's changed, obviously you've had the old juniors now into the facilities we've got now in the community club, the first team, whatever. How much has it changed since like you first stepped in the doors?
Bloody hell. Night and day. It's massive. We have got something special here now.
Mm-hmm.
This is something. If we had this back in our days, you would never had teams like this. And first of all, you wouldn't have had the money to do it.
No.
You didn't have probably all the different things that comes along with a community club. You wouldn't have got that in our days. But to see what we have now, and to be perfectly honest, when you listen to a lot of other parents coming to Blackburn from wherever, they're jealous. You can hear the way they're talking, they're jealous, and we are very, very lucky to have what we have here. And obviously that's a big thanks to everybody involved in the community club. What got us this distance for your Ian McGinty's helping, and Jimmy Johnston's, and all these guys getting this all going, Neil Purdy, all these guys, and Andrew Campbell, as you spoke to, all these guys have made it special for here. This is something that people are coming to look at us and take it away and want to be like Blackburn. We want to be like, how do we become Blackburn? This is what you hear on regular, and that to me is fantastic. To see us, what we have there now, and if we can develop that even more with other parks, similar to what Trevor was saying the other week there, other artificial parks, things like that, and that can be a gold mine for us if we can develop that, because if you look at teams, Dunfermline Athletic years ago had the all-weather park, and then they were told to change it. The money they made in one season was £250,000 profit. That was just because of the using that one park. I mean, that then they got told they had to go back to grass because they were going to the Premier League. This was a few years back.
Aye.
That, that's the type of thing that's the revenue they lost overnight because they went back to grass. If we had other parts available to us here, there's no stopping us. The money that could be ploughed in, and as I say, if we came first team community club all comes together, that makes it big for the first team. The development being the pathway, everybody wants to then come through. Then we start seeing young guys. I mean, we have got some great young guys in your team, the under-20s. Some of the players that's coming through are brilliant. You go and watch some of these, and we had 2 of your laddies out on Monday night at Alloa playing for us.
Chris and Harris.
Brilliant. Some laddies, they're fantastic. We had Alfie and Reese for the 20s up. Alfie's fantastic. Reese is brilliant as well.
A couple of the boys playing against Livingston as well.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, that's all down to the guys who set all this up. If we can use that pathway properly and get us into the big, the first team and take us in, that we don't need to go and spend money to bring somebody special in. If we can nurture and bring the guys right through, it's a goldmine for us. Absolutely.
And I think like the biggest one probably to talk about is probably Blair Flood. I think touch wood we can keep him, but I think if an offer gets made for him, you've got every right to go, no, he's 16, bump that up to 4 figures and so forth. Do you know what I mean?
I think Blair Flood is a fantastic young lad. A lot of development still to be done. As you say, he's only 16, and I speak to his dad quite regularly at the games. And I think we still need to nurture him. We need to really talk more to him about what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. We really need to be trying to educate the laddie on different things of the football, and that will become a massive asset to us.
Aye, because even when you get to 18, 19, that's still a lot of money you can get for a young player.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that adds an extra bit of value, just the age alone. So
I think
time is on his side.
You've hit it in the head. He's got loads of time. If I was, if they asked me, if a team came in for Blair tomorrow, I would speak to his dad right away and say, I don't think he's ready to go to the next level. I really don't. He's playing in a big level just now, away from what he is, 16-year-old, right? Now he could be in the 20s or he could be in your team, yeah? He's still got a lot of learning to do to make the next league. If he is still here next season, what he will be as far as we're concerned, going up into the Premier League will make him a different player altogether. But that's down to us as a team coaching the laddie to what he needs to be. The bad things, get his bad things out the game, put the good things into his games. With football, you could sit all night and tell him this, that and the next thing, and he's the type of laddie that he'll take on board and he'll go and do it. He's no, I'm a better player, I'll go. He listens to you, right? He really does listen to you. He's going to be an asset for the club, without a doubt. If we can keep him here to 21, he'll be a massive asset, without a doubt, yeah. And there's a lot more like that. There's a lot more laddies coming through. Reese, Alfie, Jamie Boyle, Big Joe, Tino for the 20s. There's another couple of other laddies, I forget their names.
But not Tino for the first team, it's too old.
Tino's past their sell-by date, truly.
Hope he's not listening.
No.
Battle me.
Hope he is.
That's brilliant.
You've talked a bit about other clubs, and I've certainly seen, I've heard parents come along the sidelines and go, this is a great setup here they've got. But what makes this Blackburn different from other clubs at this level?
Oh God, Mark.
Is it just the community aspect, really?
I think you have to say that. I think the community is one. First of all, the coaching staffs that we have here, the guys and the lassies who put their time out to come and do what they do, to get winning teams, and not just a winning team. You're not coming just for a winning team, because that's probably wrong to say.
Aye, enjoyment.
You have to come for your enjoyment first and foremost. And you watch some of the coaches taking the lassies and the laddies teams, and we're sitting there now, we can hear the rain pouring out there now, right? Now, most nights at training, that's what we have. And to watch everybody come along week in and week out and do their training in this kind of weather, you've got to applaud them. And that's where the teams come from. That's where our work. These guys and lasses that put their time out, use guys there that go and spend your time on your training nights, etc., etc. That's our community. Yeah. Could we have a lot more community involved in it? Without a doubt. Yeah, definitely. But as we go on, the first team will always push to bring people through the gates. Yeah. And the more we get, as I say, this podcast is fantastic, right? It's fantastic because it's starting to show us in media, right? Media is a massive thing for us, for even the small team that we are. It's massive for us. And if we can get the media out to everybody, week in and week out, it's the community starts saying, maybe we'll go down there the day.
Exactly, aye.
If we have something special, if the community clubs decide, right, let's have a fun day and the first team's playing such and such. We had the fun day not that long ago, and it was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I held Andrew's, call it a stag do, a game during the game, and we had about 60 or 70 folk through for Andrew, and it was a fantastic day. The kids and that, they were loving it. I had masks made up for Andrew for his face, and I think a lot of them's got them on the dartboards in the changing room. But no, these are the things that make it positive for the club.
Aye.
So the community club, the way it's run, is a big plus for everybody. And if we can follow on for that, it becomes massive for us. And you ask what other parents come, other teams say, how can we get? They'll maybe ever never get to what Blackbird's got here, because it's the people that we have
that actually make it what it is.
Make it is, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I like that.
We don't have, they don't have Andy Campbell, they don't have Neil Purdy, they don't have Trevor, Brian Smiley's, your Andrew Meechan's. They don't have the guys, And I'm sorry, I don't know the other coaches' names, but. This is how special it is for us. We've got people out there that are working hard for us, and that's us. That's Blackburn community. That's very, very important.
It's all the stuff that people don't see, like all the extra hours you're doing, like what I said at the start of the podcast about people going to do their coaching badges. And then, like, even as well, you like at the fun day, like even gear we mentioned to Chris Boyle, he's sitting on the grill, and it's like, do you know what I mean? Even just the wee, but just even like the wee smallest of things like that. It's like people are all trying to chip in and do their part, no matter how big or how small.
100%, yeah. Chris Boyle, I speak to Chris every week, and people like Angie and that. People don't see the work that Chris Boyle does. Chris Boyle is there mostly all the time. And the work that he puts in is massive, for and every one of us aren't walking away with any money.
He makes it so easy for me and Trevor to just go and get on with the coaching. Like there's no like, obviously a couple of times you do chip in to help out, but there's no like, I need you to do this, I need you to phone this referee. He makes it so easy for us to go and just do what we have to do for the players. He's like the engine room of what we're trying to do.
You've hit it in the head. There's two people as the engine room of this community, and that's Angie Campbell and Chris Boyle. Right?
Absolutely.
And I'm no disrespecting anybody else on the community club board, but they two are your
bread and butter.
Your bread and butter. They're the clogs in the wheel that start everything going. Without they two people, we'd be scratching our head. I think anyway. That's my own personal opinion.
No, I don't disagree. Again, it's just all the extra stuff you see. It's never a case of showing up, coach leave. Obviously they're not coaches, but you know what I mean. It's not a case of show up, do your thing, leave. It's, you know, they're staying after hours. You know, it's time you could be spending with your family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even like down to the things like Chris is a season ticket holder at Celtic Park, I think. I could be wrong, but I think he is.
Yeah.
But you know, he's
I have to say.
missing many matches to be at a Blackburn game to do things with Blackburn. Do you know what I mean? It's that important. I mean, he even answered the phone when he was on holiday, and it was him and his wife's anniversary. And he goes, about 5 minutes into the call, not even about 10 minutes into the call, he goes, "I'm with Myra, I'm going to go." I was like, "Mate, I'm so sorry," but just like he's sitting there on a phone call, he's sitting there at dinner 10 minutes on his anniversary, talking about Blackburn and all that. Exactly. So it's just things like that people will never see unless it's talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we've mentioned your son Andrew already. Was it, when did you first realise he might go into kind of management? Has he always kind of been focused on that, do you think?
Yeah, he has been. He played with a team in Broxburn as a goalkeeper, and
He never told us that, did he?
Played for.
He never told us as a goalie.
Yeah, he was played as a goalkeeper. He was a very good goalkeeper actually. He should have still been playing, in my opinion. He stopped playing football far too early, but he was a very good goalkeeper. The team he played for some reason I got roped in to come along and take some coaching sessions with him, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. I hate kids' football in the sense of watching them train, etc, etc. That was under 16s, I think it was. It was hard work. That's why I take my hat off to everyone who are coaches underage, and hard work. Anyway, Andrew, they were getting leathered week in and week out, but every week was man of the match, Andrew. The amount of saves he was pulling off, it should be double figures every week, but he saved after. And he used to come into the dressing room at half time and nobody had to say a word. He started at them right away, saying this, that and the next thing. And then Andrew would start doing wee bits and bob at training without even anybody telling him. And then he came back to Blackburn, and I played with, I don't know if it was Andy Ape's team or his cousin's team, Gary Meechan. I think they were running a team at the time, and he came back there, played in goals with him, and then he started to help wee bits and bobs at the coaching and that. And he was good at it.
See, just in terms of like all those wee extra bits, like talking in the dressing room, doing wee bits in training, is that when you kind of thought like, oh, he sees football differently, like he's genius?
I thought him as purely a coach. I thought his knowledge, everything he taught the kids that was stuff that the kids could take onto the park. Yeah, it wasn't like, I'll run you into the ground in my days, right? We got run into the ground. That used to be a thing called the Daisy Hill there, and we used to run up and down the Daisy Hill if we got beaten on a Saturday, you know, things like that. But Andrew was probably the people he was working with at the time as well. Everything had to be done that the laddies could go into a game with. Then obviously he stepped up to a wee bit higher, and he was working with Mark Campbell and Jamie McCormick, so he became better and better. And I actually says to Mark and Jamie one day is I thought he was getting pulled about and getting used as a gopher, so I pulled Mark and Jamie up and says, I hope you're no using my boy as just a gopher. And Mark says to me, Brian, he says, his coaching is very, very good. We're going to put him through his coaching badges, everything else. So for there, I thought to myself, okay, I trust Mark.
I trust that judgment, yeah.
And, you know, everything's been brilliant. Watching him coaching, when he got the 20s job himself, with, God, I can't remember the lad's name, he's at Hart Hall as the manager just now. Craig Young. He asked me to come along and give him a wee hand, set things up for him. So I came along and I was watching him, and everything he was doing was absolutely spot on. And he explained to the guys that when you go into the park on a Saturday or a Friday or whenever it was, this is what you expect to do. This is where you're going to be. Everything was absolutely fantastic. And then obviously stepping up, Craigie left. He then got the 20s himself, brought in other people. The other people who came in to help him, Craig, Aaron Fowler's dad, and the Stoneyburn managers just now, I can forget his name, sorry. They came in, so they're helping him as well. So he's obviously seeing what's happening. But all the time, I thought to myself, brilliant. His coaching is really, really good. He's probably, this is sounding like a dad, he's probably one of the best coaches at Blackburn, along with your Brian Smileys and people like that. I thought generally they were up there, right? Then he stepped up. He's first team, working with the first team all the time as a coach. He's getting allowed to do everything in coaching side. And then the last season, when Craigie Young left and Jamie McCormick was left himself, Andrew was getting left to do a lot of other coaching stuff with it. And I said at the time, this is far too much for one person, for things weren't done properly. But Andrew kept the coaching going. Everything was brilliant. In my eyes, it was fantastic. And then the story with Jamie McCormick wanting to finish up, blah, blah, blah. I was on holiday at the time, and I got a phone call and say, do you think Andrew would take the manager's job? And I says, Andrew would probably jump at the manager's job. I says, but I personally don't think he's ready for the manager's job. I think he's brilliant at coaching. I don't have an issue with the coaching side of it. I don't think he's ready for the management job. This was probably about 6-7 games before the end of the season. Jamie had been saying that he's ready to pack it in, but he still hadn't packed it in. So I watched Andrew over the last few games of the season, and it ended up that Andrew was doing everything coming there. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, these guys are listening to Andrew. Everything Andrew was saying at coaching and before games and after games, they were listening to him.
It was translating.
He was, and they were understanding and they were accepting it for him. So I went back to the so-called committee at the time, and I says, I take back everything I said. I think he would do all right as your manager if that's the way you're going. But at the story at the time, Jamie still hadn't made up his mind he was leaving.
And see when Jamie was there, was he involved with the first team, like doing wee bits and bobs before, or did he just walk in?
Jamie was
not knowing them at all.
Yeah, Jamie was in my eyes, he stood at the side of the park and didn't get involved. It was left to the other coaches. Now that can always be a manager's role, to watch what everybody's doing. They talk about it after it and say or before. Concentrating this, that.
And was Andy on the sidelines before with Jamie?
Yeah, aye.
So do you think that helped him step into the role?
I think it helped him a big role in a good way and a bad way. I think working with Mark Campbell and Jamie in the first team for probably 3 seasons before he got the job. So he's been working hard there. I think working with the two of them helped him in the long run. Good and bad. Last season I thought personally that some of the stuff that was rubbing off people before was rubbing off him last season, and he wasn't doing his own thing. This season he's doing his own thing. Aye. Same with the lad he brought in last season to work with him, who's now at Everton. He was listening to him. Andrew was listening to him. He's a fantastic guy, and I cannot remember his name. That's an age thing. But Andrew's now started to do everything his own. It's his decision. He'll speak to Scott and he'll speak to David. He'll take everything on board. At the end of the day, the sword will fall on Andrew.
Yep.
So he'll make his decision, and he'll really listen to the guys. He has changed things when the guys have spoke to him about it. So yeah, he will, but he does. He'll explain the reason why he wants it, why he's doing this and why he's that, and it works.
I think it's good having that discussion. I mean, like one thing, like with what I've in my time in coaching over the last 4 years, I've worked, numerous different places, coached numerous different teams, and obviously being an assistant or co-head coach at some places, feels as if sometimes I just get an opinion battered down at my face. But see, when I was involved with the first team with Andy, he'd be like, "What do you think?" I'd be like, "Am I getting him to put an input here. I've only ever really had that at Blackburn with my 09s and with Andy. So credit to him there, just having that open sort of discussions and things like that for the side.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that all the time, I have to say. And he'll allow you to say what you think, and doesn't mean to say he'll take it on board right enough, because I get to every Saturday night after every game, what do you think? And I go through millions of things with him, and it doesn't really matter what I say. It's the end of the day what he goes on a Monday. And
it's good to consider the opinion, though. Even if you decide against it, it's good to consider what people have said.
There's he'll listen to you very much. He will listen to you. Maybe take 2 or 3 weeks before he'll decide to, wait a minute, Jared told me that, I'll maybe change that then to suit, Eventually it will go into him if he thinks it will benefit the team. If it doesn't, then it'll not get used. That's the bottom line. And as I say, the sword will fall on him, so he doesn't want to go about blaming anybody else. And
it pays off half the time, though. I mean, when we played Kirkcaldy and Dyza, I was at the sideline for that game. And we were talking about subs and that, and speaking about Daryl Meikle, and myself and the other coaches had said put him middle of the park, and then Andy goes, not number 10. And we were like, alright, number 10 scores the winning goal, and you're like, ah, genius, do you know what I mean? Like, credit to both Daryl and Andy, but sticking them in there, do you know what I mean?
The biggest thing, I mean, it's we are very, very lucky. We've got a really good bunch of players, and that's the big thing. That is a major thing for Andrew. The good thing with Andrew as well, mostly every one of the lads here who's been here for a while, Andrew's brought back. They've maybe left for other reasons, and Andrew's been able to get them back to playing, coming back on board. And listen, everybody's got a wee gripe after certain games and things like that. That's fine. We're all like that. We can go out and greeting every week if we have to. But you come back on Monday and you've got all the harmony. Everybody's working together. That's what you need. And that's down to, okay, I've been in the dressing room when Andrew has come in after half time, and my goodness, I have to go out and then I say to him at night time, whoa man, calm down, you've got to take a heart attack. It's just, but
passion.
Every one of the guys, exactly that, every one of the guys can understand it. I've heard the guys, Andrew will leave the dressing room before the guys come out at half time, right? The full coaching staff leave, so he allows them to talk.
Aye.
Yeah, and I've sat in and listened to the guys, and no many of them will turn around and say, what's he all about? Why are we getting, it's all, we should be listening and doing what he's right and saying, 100%. And there's, we talked about young Blair. His dad had a great thing said the other day there to us about when he used to play Gaelic football, and that one of his coaches years ago came in and handed every player a mirror, small mirror, because they were moaning about each another. They were flinging their hands up in the air and moaning about that player was rubbish, this, that and the next thing. So this coach came in and handed a mirror to every one of the players and says to them, before you fling your hands up, have a look at the person in that mirror, because they're the ones who are starting all the problems half the time. And
it's true. I mean, a lot of the... Don't get me wrong, sometimes it's good for the players to be able to bite each other's heads off sometimes, but I think like if your go-to reaction in a match of football is to blame somebody else, then there's a bit of a problem there. It's good occasionally be like, listen mate, like your passes have been absolutely horrific today, go and sort that out. But see if every week you're trying to nitpick things for other people and sort of deflecting, do you know what I mean? You've got to take accountability.
Correct, 100%, yeah.
So
that's the mirror thing. That's you've got to look at yourself before you blaming anybody else.
Yeah, we're not all perfect, that's for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I'm conscious of time here. We're going to try and crack on to some final quick fire questions. So have you got any pre-match rituals, or have you got anything that you kind of do before a match at Blackburn?
The old junior days, I wore the same T-shirt till we got beat. So I had a new year every week.
Are you still doing that today?
No. Nothing really nowadays. Just I come up, and if it's a home match, I get everything ready for the guys coming in, and I try and stick to what I do to get the guys ready. And I try and do the same thing week in and week out. If somebody disturbs me, that can be an issue, because then I forget to do something. At my age, that could happen. I'm a young 62, so.
62 years young.
Yes.
That's the one.
Thanks, Jared. Say it that way all the time.
If you could manage any club in the world, who'd it be?
Blackburn.
Living your son's dreams. No, your dreams are your son's
mine.
reality.
What about favourite venue you've played at? Apart from, obviously, Purdywood Way Community Stadium.
Chings. Probably the best. Meadowbank. The old stadium at Meadowbank.
Aye.
Long while ago. Yeah, that'd probably be the best place.
Aye, the one they built for the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
Aye.
aye. That's probably the best. The rest has all been other junior football.
Parks and stuff like that.
Mary Hull Juniors probably was another good one. But yeah.
Funniest player you've came across at Blackburn of all time?
And Blackburn all time.
Funniest player?
Well, there's been a few. Lately, probably young Blair for the 20s, who's now
Beansy.
left us. And Beansy, he's fantastic. In the old days, we had numerous guys. Colin Penman, Peter Walker, God rest him. These were all good characters in the dressing room. Big Podge, the goalkeeping coach, who's
Sadly just...
that Podge,
No, that
another
Podge, sorry.
Podge, yeah, but sadly
Still
poor Podge.
Aye.
Poor Mr. Logan, nice laddie.
It was. What about a favourite Scottish player of all time?
I'll say Scott Richards, but really it's Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson.
Would you keep or bin VAR?
Ben,
Proper old school like that.
yeah,
What team do you support?
Blackburn.
Okay, I like that one.
Boo.
3G or grass?
Grass.
I knew that one as well.
Oh, this one might stitch you up a wee bit. Blackburn get promotion to the leagues, so like League 2. Scotland win the World Cup.
Blackburn.
Good man.
Without a doubt.
I like that.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Android or Apple?
Android.
Good man, yes.
I can see it sitting across the table for me.
It's my laptop.
You can see the glasses there. He needs his glasses when he's on his phone.
Are you an ice cream or a chocolate man?
Both.
And if football wasn't the path for your life, what would have been?
Rugby.
Aye?
Yeah, you're a rugby man.
You're a rugby man.
Do you still follow the rugby?
No as much, just
as much.
international stuff and that. But
Aye.
yeah. I used
Well,
to
I
play a
think
wee
it's
bit.
only rugby we've kind of got, eh?
I mean, if you go into the borders and that, you see some cracking rugby games.
Oh, the Melrose Sevens always used to go down for that.
Well, we
like.
used to play in the St Kentigans had a team in every year at Melrose Sevens.
All right, yes, I didn't know
That
that.
was a hard task. That was a...
Oh, you've got the creme de la creme down there, like, I mean,
my
it's...
goodness.
Aye.
7 players running about a full rugby park, and you get a wee football player moaning because he's had to run 6 yards to get a ball.
Aye. It is a
Save help.
different mentality.
Yeah.
Save help.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, Brian, it's been a pleasure having you on the
It
podcast.
has.
It's
It's
a pleasure
been
to be here. Thank you very much once again for having us. I've enjoyed every second.
We'll
Well,
definitely get you back on.
Yeah, no, we'll need to get you back
brilliant,
on.
yeah, love it.
Because
love
probably
it.
a lot of untouched subjects I want to hear
Bob
about.
Crivens, we could have been here all night, definitely. Yeah.
Well, what I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll get some fish suppers in for next time,
Even better. That's
and,
what I like.
and we'll do that, and we'll reconvene.
We'll do like a
and finish
12-hour podcast just talking about Brian Meechan and his time at Blackburn. There's a good 40 year in there.
Well, exactly that. Yeah, there's a lot.
No offence,
There's a lot
Brian.
of good stories could be here. A lot of good songs I could sing, but I'll not go.
No, listen, thanks again, Brian.
Thank
That's
you,
been
guys.
brilliant. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be here next week, and I think we've got
Ben Riley.
Ben Riley on the show. We'll hopefully got him.
And there's a bit of transfer news that we can hopefully speak about next week.
Yes, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, everything goes smoothly.
If I say his name, can you bleep it out? Or is Brian going to go mental?
And cut.